Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time you see this. Today is October 24th, 2023. And since today is Tuesday, you know what that means. We're going to continue with our Worship the King devotion today. The title is Standing Up to the Enemy. And it's coming from Nehemiah chapter 2, verses 11 through 20. I'm just going to read that. Nehemiah chapter 2, 11 through 20, and then I'll just get right into it. Ready? Nehemiah 2, 11 through 20. I went to Jerusalem, and after staying there 3 days, I set out during the night with a few men. I had not told anyone what my God had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem. There were no mounts with me except for the one that I was riding on. By night I went out through the valley gate towards the Jackal Well and the Dung Gate, examining the walls of Jerusalem which had been broken down, and its gates which had been destroyed by fire. Then I moved on towards the Fountain Gate and the King's Pool, but there was not enough room for my mount to get through. So I went up the valley by night, examining the wall. Finally I turned back and re-entered through the valley gate. The officials did not know where I had gone or what I was doing, because as of yet I had said nothing to the Jews or the priests or the nobles or the officials or any other person who would be doing the work. Then I said to them, "You see the trouble we are in. Jerusalem lies in ruins and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." I also told them about the gracious hand of my God upon me and what the king had said to me, and they replied, "Let us start rebuilding." So they began this good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite official, and Geshem the Arab heard about it, they mocked and ridiculed us. "What is this you are doing?" they asked. "Are you rebelling against the king?" I answered them by saying, "The God of heaven will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuilding, but as for you, you have no share in Jerusalem or any claim or historic right to it." Now the key verse is Nehemiah 2:20, which says, "The God of heaven will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuilding, but as for you, you have no share in Jerusalem or any claim or historic right to it." So let's just get right into this. The men who opposed the rebuilding of the wall stood outside the covenant of promise. None of the three had any claim to the promise of God to inherit the land, and that is why Nehemiah took this stand. The form that their opposition took is also prophetic of our struggles. They first mocked and ridiculed, and this is usually the first weapon that the enemy employs. You may have felt it when you began to recover from your personal ruin, right? When we got saved, we gave our life to the Lord. When your friends laughed at your desires to change, they may have ridiculed your religious convictions and resented with scorn your implied criticisms of their conduct. Also, Nehemiah's enemies began to threaten and slander him with charges of rebellion and disloyalty. If ridicule does not work, then the opposition of the enemy stiffens and becomes openly unfriendly and threatening. It is the next level of resistance that those who seek to rebuild will always encounter. These are but pictures for us. They picture the opposition and the resistance that we will experience from Satan himself. What was true of these opposing forces in Nehemiah's case is true also of Satan. He is a usurper, someone who takes authority illegally, somebody who tries to take dominion over something that is not theirs, they have no right to. He is a usurper who has tricked us and led us astray, yet he has no right to do so. Jesus came to restore God's property to him and to loose the hold of the devil upon the human race. That is what he does in our lives. So when we face resistance, we must see it as something that God allows to strengthen us for growth. But Satan, we must realize, has no real right to our lives or the work that we're doing for the kingdom. We do not need to be bound by habits from the past, no matter how innocently they may have begun. We do not need to be slaves to drugs, sex, alcohol, tobacco, or whatever it is that may be controlling and limiting us. Remember Paul's great cry from 1 Corinthians 6:12 when he says, "I will not be mastered by anything." Why is that? Because he was under the power of God. And this is what Nehemiah declares here. There is no necessity to be a slave to a hot temper or a critical attitude or even a complaining spirit. These areas of ruin in our lives can be set aside because we are expecting God to grant us the grace to stand. And that is why, with great determination, Nehemiah clenches his fist and says, "Look, the God of heaven is with us. He will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuilding. Do what you like, say what you like, but it is not going to stop us. You are usurpers, right? You have no right to this land." When we're standing up to the enemy and we're living for the Lord and we're doing what he's called us to do, and the enemy tries to attack us, he has no right to your life or my life or the work that we're doing for the kingdom. And we can say that to him. We can say, "Hey, you have no right here. You don't belong here. God reigns here. God is with us. God is going to grant us success." And those challenges that look like opposition that the Lord allows is to mature us and grow us, and we can't let them cripple us and defeat us, because we can stand up to the enemy knowing full well that the Lord is going to give us the grace to stand. You guys have a good day today. Think about that. Pray about that. Pray for me. I'm praying for you. You guys take care. God bless.